Hi, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about why software companies leave money on the table. So let's get into it. Number one, discounting is either low or it's zero or it's negative. All right, so let's try to understand. If discounting is zero, this is obvious, right? Nobody's asking for a discount. There might definitely be room to move up. Okay. But even if there is discounting and it's not going much more than 10 or even 15%, you're not even getting the escalations in the company. This is a problem because sometimes 10 to 15% discounts are just expected, right? And if the customer isn't pushing for more, you have to wonder why there are no escalations. And I'm talking more about enterprise SaaS companies, but even in regular online sales based companies, discounting needs to become a problem in the company. If there is no talk about discounting and there is no escalations, you might be pricing too low. And something that I've experienced in companies is negative discounting, where my sales reps think that the list price is so low. For them to make money, they start to raise prices themselves, right? So, pricing strategy might have been created in a vacuum, but on the ground, the reps know that they can capture more money. So, this is the first way that you are leaving money on the table. Second, enterprise customer deal value is not that much more than mid-market customers. So what do I mean by that? Enterprise customer deal values could range anywhere from 1.5x to 10 times more your lower end customer segments. Hear that again, 10 times more, right? Sometimes enterprise customer service are government segments, healthcare, financial services. Now, if your enterprise is only 30-40% more, you have to wonder, are you segmenting correctly or are you charging? Is the list price appropriate for that segment? Number three, the services that you're offering are baked into your contract and you're not itemizing services. I recently finished a pricing product with a premier 100 million plus ARR company where the original product was only sold for 20-30K ARR, but the associated service could go as high as $500,000. And this is not, I have seen this at multiple times. What you will realize is sometimes the custom service that you offer for clients will do work that the company does not, your customers do not staff for. And they are willing to pay a lot of money for getting those services through an expert such as yourself. And it would be a crime not to monetize those services. Number four, thin sliver whales. What do I mean by that? The pricing curve for most companies is more of an exponential pattern where a few small customers tend to really make or break your company, and then there are tons of other customers that have much lower average revenue per customer. What does that tell you? That you want to go after these thin sliver whales. Many times these are custom scope deals. They have nothing to do with your larger sales motion, but they make or break your company. And if you've not accounted for what make these deals special, and if there is even such a segment, you are missing out on a lot of money. And this is something we find out a lot when we do our in-person qualitative research interviews, and we find specific key complex use cases, compliance based use cases, regulatory use cases, high critical industry use cases such as airlines, where you cannot go wrong, and suddenly the willingness to pay increases quite a lot. And finally, fifth, not charging appropriately for critical features and not making them add-ons. So what tends to happen in many software companies is, as the company is progressing on its product roadmap, many times product managers not being confident enough to price, and they're not being owner for pricing, tend to include a feature in their larger feature set. Now, customers, for a lot of features, doing that is fine, but there are going to be critical features such as a Gen AI capability or an even complex workflow engine that is better suited for an enterprise customer, and you should have charged extra for it. You could have charged extra for it with your enterprise plan as well, and you said, no, I'm going to focus on just increasing my win rate. You have to understand, if your win rate was already high enough, you could have used that feature to monetize better. It could have resulted in higher deal values. It could have also resulted in a higher net retention rate. These are the 5 common ways that I've seen companies leave money on the table. And I hope you have a little bit of an idea on where to go and investigate to get that extra change. Thank you.